Some say it grew from our malice and indifference. Some say it was retribution from the heavens. All we know is the pandemic began somewhere. Somewhere cursed, dark, and filled with sorrow. Future generations will wonder how it all started. We will tell them the infection began with PodcastZERO.
Do my face. You got my face?
Yeah, I got your face. Hang on, let me find it.
You got my face.
There you go.
There it is.
I'm, you know, it wouldn't be a normal show if I hadn't muted myself.
Did you really mute?
Yeah, I did. It's the way I start my show. I mean, it's the way I start the show every
I've
single
done that
time.
too. Yeah.
Every time.
Every single time. I'm sorry. Well, anyway, hi everybody. I pulled the demo. Starting over, restart, redo. Welcome to H1Z1 PodcastZERO. We have the Sony crew here, and we're going to have them introduce themselves. While that's happening, please put questions in brackets, and we will answer them as we get to them. We'll have them answer questions specifically.
Hold on. Apparently, Steve broke everything.
No, we
No,
can.
as soon as you went live,
Yeah.
it kind of kicked our view of the screen off. That's
Oh,
all.
okay.
We're good.
Well, that's all right. So, everybody in the audience, please ask questions. Put them in brackets and ask your questions. You know, specifically when is the release date and if it's coming to PlayStation 4. Those are two that I'm sure they've never asked or answered before. So we'll have them answer them as we get going. All right. Go ahead and introduce yourselves, guys in the rooms. Steve, you want to take off and?
Okay. Well, I'm Steve George. I'm the producer on H1Z1.
I'm Tom Schenk. I'm the technical director on H1Z1.
I'm Greg Henniger, community manager.
I'm James Chin. I'm an associate game designer.
Greg Spence, programmer.
Ruby Alper, environment artist.
David Abram. I'm a programmer.
Awesome. We've had a few of you guys on the show before. Yeah, thanks a lot. So we can start right off and ask the tough question: Are we getting closer?
Every day we're getting
Yes.
closer.
That's an obvious yes.
Yeah.
Oh, what a good answer.
The answer we've been waiting for.
No surprise Halloween release?
Not yet. Nothing
Not yet.
yet. We told you it wouldn't be a surprise.
Yeah, right. It wouldn't be a surprise.
That's true.
Okay, so I was watching your live stream today and watching it over again, and I was noticing the sounds. You guys, that was the new thing that you just put in, the new sound engine, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe just the quality of the stream audio or what it was, but the sounds of the guns were so incredibly spot on. When I was in the Navy, I used to shoot small arms all the time, and like the pistol, it was perfect. I mean, exactly that pop, sort of like that snappy pop. It sounded absolutely great. Can you tell us a little bit about the new engine, the new sound engine that you put in, or how that's going?
Well, it's going. I mean, the audio guy's been asking us for a little while to get some stuff done on the sound engine. So we went over and converted from the existing one we have FMOD, we went over and converted to WIs, and they're going great. The guys love it. The tools are really great. It's a great system.
I think where it really shines is on the development side. We have more options as developers as opposed to like the audio quality isn't going to change so much obviously right now.
No, but you give the audio guys what they like, and they get happy. And they make better
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
The audio guys will have a lot more flexibility with what they can do with the audio now, so it allows them to be more creative on their end without it involving coders as much as it did before. So they should be able to do more with the new engine.
That's pretty much it.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Oh, yeah. Skylar is a normal, one of our normal guests, and she was literally on the road driving, watching the show. I don't think that's very safe.
It's
But
very safe.
She's twitching and driving?
she's twitching and driving. Police officers aren't watching this, I hope. Yeah.
You know, a comment on the sound thing. I think that the sound engine is probably going to really set this game apart from other ones. I mean, just anyone who's been to a firing range knows that real guns don't sound like a lot of the times what you see in video games.
Here.
And just that authentic snap is kind of scary in its own right. It's like almost like you can feel the weight of it.
Yeah.
So I'm really interested in seeing how much further this is going to go as we learn more about the game.
Can you explain some of the other things that you guys have been doing with the engine over the last, I guess, about 2 months since we've had a PodcastZERO? So it looks like what I've been noticing. It looks like there's some kind of HDR maybe that's going on. Like the textures are getting deeper and sort of like, I don't know, more colors.
Well, we've been messing with a lot of the settings in the lighting engine. The HDR stuff been in since PlanetSide has HDR set up.
Right.
We've been having that for a long time. So it's never actually come online. It's been there the whole time. As far as other things we've done, the sound engine is one thing. We've done some network updates, and just a lot of little things in the engine that you always do between projects.
And you've seen a lot of animation smoothing out too, probably.
Yeah.
Which is probably one of the most visual things your eyes are going to be set to.
Well, a lot of behind the scenes stuff is like, oh, we're making better inventory management code. And the database is faster. It's like, you guys don't care about that stuff.
Yes, we do. No, but it all looks like it's working out really well.
And I noticed you guys have implemented the vehicle maintenance and all that sort of stuff as well with the spark plugs and the battery.
Yep.
And
Definitely on inventory management. We've got some more stuff coming online soon too that you'll be able to see. That's I think pretty good.
Oh yeah, and you guys saw our truck already, right?
Yeah, the
Truck?
pickup truck.
So
I
the
did
pickup
not
truck.
see that.
That's
Oh,
gonna
yeah,
become
the pickup.
a vehicle most likely.
Okay, quick question on the vehicles. How does can you lock the vehicle to prevent someone from just running in and stealing your spark plug, or how's that gonna work?
You can lock a vehicle, but you can't really prevent them from stealing your spark plugs.
It's
Can they kick a window in and say screw your lock? Maybe take some like slashing damage to their arm. So, like, elbow.
At the moment, you can only lock it to prevent people from getting in it if you're already driving. Eventually, I think we want to have some other kind of mechanic, but as soon as the guy that's driving gets out of it at the moment, it becomes free reign. So we'll see how that plays, and we'll go from there.
How when it comes to the vehicles, the question that I have is how resilient are the vehicles going to be? I mean, without naming any names, there have been some competitors in the past where you hit a rock with a bicycle and it explodes, things like that. Like, what level of durability are we going to see with vehicles, and how in depth are we looking at in terms of terrain usage for vehicle types?
I'm not sure what you mean by terrain usage.
Well, like would a off-road vehicle fare better on grass than?
Oh, I see. So just response. Yeah. We have different traction set up right now. We've got a couple. I mean, we've had that one off-road vehicle in there for a while. We got the newer the truck one we put in there. That kind of drives like it's got bald tires right now. I don't know if anyone else has driven it, but I've looped that thing a lot. It's interesting. We're playing with how we can get those numbers to go back and forth between them. So as we have it, or as you damage things, they handle it a little differently. But we're not sure yet what detail we can go into without really affecting performance.
I've been noticing a couple of new models. Have they been models as far as like something from Matt Broom? It looked like there was like when I was watching your live stream, it looked like there was at least 1 or 2 new models. Am I mistaken in that?
You
No, it's
might
probably a lot.
actually. What he's probably talking about is we've got some of the variety for the zombie models and player models in there. Right, so we've got some of those customization systems starting to come online.
Some more animals and such too, I assume.
Yeah, I saw the wolves, but I was thinking more. So it must be like it's like almost like a procedural system where it sort of pulls different skin tones with shirt styles and that kind of thing.
Yeah, shirt A, guys got a different pose in some cases. I think we put that in as well. So guys kind of stand a little differently once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those things are going online. We're getting after we get this basic system in place, we'll be starting to be able to put in the with you being zombie stuff. So you'll loot them based on what you see them wearing, and then the players will also have things on them as well. We'll be able to hang stuff on you to some extent.
Now, one more question towards the vehicles. Will you be able to shoot out the window when you're driving, or your passenger be able to, fire out the window? Because I know people can fire at you. It'd be nice if you could fire back.
That's on the wish list. It's not implemented right now.
Wish list, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you can just imagine a pickup truck with a bunch of guys in the back all toting machine guns, just drive by, just mowing down hordes of zombies as you go.
Somebody built a Civic.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't want to make it so that you can just drive through a herd of zombies and not take any damage.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have something in place for that. We're just not sure how much damage modeling we'll be able to get time for in the near term.
I don't know if this is something that you can reveal for the vehicle stuff, but is there any sophisticated pieces of technology that will still remain? Like, will it be possible to get a tank, helicopter, aircraft, military grade?
With that question, we're using planet-side engine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And they do have air vehicles, correct? So as soon as we have enough terrain to traverse, I think we'll make that decision on whether we're going to add Cessnas, helicopters, that sort of thing.
Could add like the go-karts with the hang glider things on them, the big fan on the back. Just like scouting.
What do you think?
Let me ask you something about griefing. Is there any kind of plans that you guys have in place for keeping people from just wrecking that beautiful house that took you 6 weeks to build? Is there any kind of, I don't know. I mean, I've seen that each particular part of the wall has sort of a health system built into it, but, I'll give an example. Like in Rust, it was pretty easy to get some C4, run up to somebody's house, blow up a wall, run in, steal all their stuff, or knock their house down or whatever. Do you have any systems like that you're thinking of, or?
I mean, in terms of damage modeling and stuff, the systems like that are kind of an ongoing process. You put the game out there and people will exploit something, you have to fix the exploit. That's kind of the crux of the situation. We can decide anything we want. We have a couple of things we're going to try.
Right.
That have to do with not permissions, or whether you're logged in or not, or maybe be able to turn, maybe the lock will play into it in some respects.
Now,
if you built it or you give it to your friends. We're not sure yet, because we can build the system and you'll find a way to exploit it.
Isn't griefing part of the game? Like, if you build a house, you should know that I can just come and destroy it and take all your stuff, because that's what would happen in an apocalypse. I go around trying to forward supplies. I see a nice house, I go and raid it.
Well, that's why it's hard, right? Because we could just say, well, you can't damage the guy's house, but that wouldn't make it fun.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm saying you can get in. I'm not saying you can't get in. I was just saying that it would some kind of some deterrent.
Make it rather difficult.
Make it difficult, right?
I think one thing comes to mind is the whole 6 weeks to build this nice house takes 15 seconds to make a torch, of which to melee attack it.
Yeah.
Like, what do we?
Well, if we know that you want to have at least some percentage of that effort that you put into it have to go into whatever it is you do away. So you can't just go up and go, hey, poof, it's gone. That doesn't make any sense. The question is, what kind of mitigation do we put in place?
Turrets.
Turrets. Nothing wrong with
auto
a turret.
Turrets. That high tech we were talking about a moment ago.
That plant side auto turret, just slap that in there.
Sentry
You
fire.
have things like barbed wire and punji sticks and things like that already in the game.
So you're taking so that's a little bit like 7 Days to Die, where it's like setting up a total death trap around your house that you can keep people out there.
Yeah, we've got a good series of static traps in right now. We haven't put any dynamic traps in yet, except for unless you consider like a mine or something like that, a dynamic trap. But like slings and noose traps stuff, not in yet.
Will there be landmines that I can put under the ground around my house? That only I'll be able to see, so I don't accidentally walk on my mine, of course.
Well, you gotta make a map.
There could be. I mean, you guys saw
Like
the
friendly
storage.
fire?
You guys saw the storage mound we made, right?
It's
Where
not very hardcore to let you walk on top of your own mine.
Right.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, come on, Mike. You need to you need to be able to blow.
I'm the type of guy that would forget where I place my mine and sneak into my house and boom.
I would say that you're not the kind of guy that put a mine down.
Yeah.
Probably a good idea.
Steve, you were going to say something, I think.
Oh, yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say.
You were talking about the storage where you can store stuff under the ground, or
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. Back to the mine thing. You know, we have that storage where you can actually store things in the
I
ground.
love
So,
that.
You dig a hole. You're not really digging a hole. You're basically putting a little lump on the ground. So yeah, if our crafting guy Paul wanted to make a landmine that was a little more discreet, he could. If he sees a reason for it, he will.
Well, I mean, the first one we have was just attached to our manhole cover model.
That worked. You can see it a mile away. No, I love the stash because I think in a real zombie apocalypse you'd probably have stashes in places. You would try to like hide something behind a tree or something like that. I mean, this recent I won't give any spoilers here, but this recent Walking Dead they just had this last week. That was as a part of the story. So definitely a cool
I just
feature.
want a banana peel that you can slip on.
Yeah.
That's not too much to ask, right?
peels. Zombies are prone to slipping on banana peels.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Okay, I got a quick question. Somebody was asking about lore. When do you think we might see another Double D?
So we're working with Double D right now. We've got like 7 or 8 scripts that are already written, and we are planning on shooting those relatively soon. And those will probably come out alongside of the early access launch.
Okay.
So there is more to be had, and we're definitely working on those right now.
Okay.
Yeah, that's awesome because that was just in a lore sense that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen in a video game.
It was.
Yeah, and we got a lot of those. I took to Reddit and was asking people to write their own stories. So we got a lot of really awesome stuff from Reddit, and we're going to be implementing that into future Survivor stories. And Double D will make his comments on that, and we'll just go from there. But yeah, definitely expect to see more from him.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Stockish, you want to start with some of the questions from the audience? Because I want to say something real quick, guys. The Sony crew can only be here a short time tonight. They're not going to do our normal 2-hour stream with us, so we wanted to kind of get through the questions quickly. So if you have any questions, throw them in now because it's not our normal 2-hour show. So stick them in there, and we'll try to answer get some good ones over to them.
There's been a lot of people repeating a lot of questions, but there's not been that many individually.
I see one here. What is the logging off situation? Let me answer that real quick.
Okay.
Currently, if you're one of those cord pullers, I guess what we call them, cord yankers.
Yeah.
There's a 30-second delay from the time you log out. So even if you pull your cord, you got a 30-second delay.
That's fantastic because that was a problem in DayZ.
What if I accidentally?
Well, then you're screwed.
You got 30 seconds.
If you accidentally
Then you got 30 seconds.
Yeah, that was a big problem in
During
DayZ.
which time you might be accidentally.
Well, it's possible that in some situations, if we detect a few things, it might be 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something about the respawn. You respawn completely, basically, I'm saying naked, but not naked, but you know what I mean? You spawn without any of your gear, with just a t-shirt and pair of pants, that's kind of deal?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay.
What do we have in now? We have 3 flares and a flashlight. Yeah.
Which can be used as a weapon, but I wouldn't recommend it.
And the flares can be used to light fires, right?
Yep.
Is that correct? Yeah.
So H1Z1 Jane wants to hear from Ruby. Tell us what you do, what inspires you, and what this project as an artist.
Yeah, Ruby.
What's up? What was the question again? I hardly
What do you do, and what inspires you with this project as an artist?
What I'm mostly doing right now is almost all the houses, including fixing them up, making new houses. What inspires me is that I sometimes look back at my hometown in Wisconsin and look at the houses there. Unfortunately, they are all like log cabin stuff, so I have to like get out of there sometimes.
Cool. So you're responsible for basically taking the stock assets and tidying them up and making them look all fancy?
Pretty much. Including creating the assets as well.
Ah, sweet.
That's awesome. And I've been noticing that sort of. That's what I was talking about. I think earlier was how everything sort of seems to be getting more fleshed out. The earlier shots that you guys were showing us from way back when it first was a little bit more raw, and it's starting to get a lot more real looking, I think.
Thanks.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, while we're
more
sorry, go ahead.
houses lately.
We especially figured out a way to productively lessen the grunge, so it doesn't look like there's dirt everywhere, and some places are a little cleaner than what it was previously before.
Yeah, cool.
So not quite all the way to what was that game Tangent that you were just playing?
Shadow of Mordor?
No, not that. The zombie game. No, is that the Sony's on Last of Us. Last of Us.
Oh, the Last of Us.
Yeah, Last of Us is just like so like dirty and wet and just It is.
I gotta say this, Kimball knows.
You feel unwashed.
He makes the pieces that Clegg uses to build with.
What's that? Oh.
Kimball's saying so Ruby basically fixes it after
After Clegger messes it up. He's not here to defend himself right now.
Last stream, which is usually,
Yeah.
She's the declegger.
The declegger.
A question that I have for you guys before we dive into the other ones is, you guys know that this particular genre of game is a very saturated arena to get into. From a development standpoint, what do you guys view as your largest challenges in terms of getting ready to unleash this first ever AAA title game of this kind of genre?
Well, to start, since quality of service is one of our differentiating things, that we're shooting for. We run the servers. It's going to be to figure out what that ideal player per square kilometer ratio is, and how to keep the game fun while allowing the right amount of users in the world. That's one segment of it, I think.
Well, and the other thing is playing to the various kinds of players you had out there, right? There are a lot of people who want to be able to spawn right next to their friends, but we know from experience with other games and other genres as well that can be a problem. It can be very exploitable if you do that wrong. So you got to have some way to do that as well. That's definitely a big challenge for us. But be able to play and account for the guys who want to hop in for half an hour and do something, accomplish something, as well as the guys who want to play all day.
And also dealing with persistent items throughout the world. I know Dave wrote the tech for that, but
it's done though, right?
It'll be interesting whenever we actually get a ton of people in the game and they're all just throwing stuff on the ground, building houses.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be a big area for us to touch on as soon as we launch. I'm sure it'll break in some areas, and we'll address it as quickly as possible.
Right, and that's the big point I think that a lot of people, do or don't understand, is that early access is going to be a time where the team can really evaluate what works, what doesn't, have things that need to tweak, like server size, like number of players on servers, and just like you were saying, like what we saw at PAX and SOE Live. You have a bunch of people playing for a number of days. You go onto the map, and then there's dew catchers literally everywhere. You can't go down a main street without seeing 3 or 4 of them because they're so easy to make, and you just reproduce them and put them on the street. It's figuring out like how to tweak those things to make it so it's not a problem, really.
Yeah.
So those are things that are in constant talks right now. But
Okay, one more quick question from me. Bicycles. When will we be seeing those? Because I cannot wait to have a bicycle gang.
A bicycle gang?
I want a bicycle gang so badly.
I did take a sneaky picture of someone working on an item that may be interesting to you. We'll see about that later.
Did you do that today?
Yeah, I did.
All right. I'll have to keep my eyes open for it.
Take a look, yeah.
I will.
Just to ask you, say, Elijah, would you like a bell and some tassels on your
Ding
bicycle?
ding.
Yes.
Yes.
A little ring. Yes.
I want a baseball card on my spokes.
Yeah, baseball card on the spokes.
These are all ideas for the pay store. You want those silver tassels?
I would
Yeah.
pay $10 for a silver tassel.
That's
A little rear that attracts zombies.
That's something I actually was
Yeah,
going to start
exactly.
asking about, and I'm glad you segued right into that tangent. Monetization. Can you guys talk a little bit about that yet, or not?
Can't talk a whole lot about it right now.
Okay.
We're still battling over that quite a bit. There's a few things that we have laid out, but not enough to share just yet.
Okay.
I know I'm going to butcher the
Guaranteed positive
pronunciation on this, but can we expect swag from other franchise Sony games in there? Like, are we going to see Fiona Vi cosplay items and things like that on the store?
I mean, the rating allows that, so I don't see why not at some point. But
people could have PlanetSide 2, their faction shirts.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Have like a faded EverQuest poster, T-shirt, or something like that. The original release, Velius.
Should look at the
blue shirt.
pictures.
Yeah,
there's a couple of things hidden in my tweeted pictures too. You'll see.
All right, cool. All right, go ahead, stock us with the next one.
Okay, let me scroll back up here. Let's have a look here. Well, this question is supposed to be like for EA, but seeing as it's not out yet, I'll change it so that it's more relevant. Ildra asks, how many players have you had as a maximum on the server so far? Like, what's the most amount of people you've tested with it at the moment?
Well, yeah,
80, 90s generally.
Yeah, probably closer to 100 has been our max.
Yeah.
It's usually when we have a little more focused play test here at the company, and usually at one given time, a percent of the company will show up to play. So we're looking at maybe about 100 plus range.
Cool. No issues?
No. I mean, that's what we do. We know how to put a lot of players in the world.
Yeah.
We've always done that. And that's our thing. It's not about the number of players and performance. It's more about what feels right for the game.
Can I throw a hypothetical here at you? From launch day. Launch day, you guys are assuming that there's going to be 1 million people that jump in the game. I don't know. I'm just making up a number. What if it turns out to be 2? How quickly would you be able to ramp up, and is it sort of a virtual ramp up where you're going to ramp up until you figure that the natural progression of a game, things kind of cool down? How do you do that? How do you ramp up, and how quickly would it take, I guess?
Well, we plan for some capacity, and then the other capacity requires additional hardware. So there's some we can turn on, and that's usually minutes or hours, and then there's some you have to install, and that's weeks.
Okay. So you could ramp up fairly quickly. What were you going to say, Mike?
I was going to say, I was thinking about the second you said that.
That's why I'm doing it, because
the biggest issue.
Yeah, and even Final Fantasy 14 was a bad issue with that too. You couldn't get in for days.
There were a couple issues like that this year.
And that literally killed everything for them, and it really killed the hype for them. So
they call it Q Simulator even to this day because.
Yep. And
it was only released a couple of weeks back.
Yep.
So. All right, stock us. There's a couple good ones going by, so yeah, see if we can get to them before we run out of time.
Well, I can't do both grab and read.
Okay, want me to grab? I'll grab.
If you find the good ones, you grab them and throw them in there while I'm reading these.
Okay, gotcha.
Noxious asks, will early access buyers get any bonuses once the full game goes free to play?
We've talked about it. I don't think we've locked anything down specifically yet, have we?
Yeah, no, not yet.
No, there'll definitely be something special. We just don't know when it'll come in. Yeah.
A hat?
That at some point, so
I'd be happy with a hat.
We'll give you one free light. How's that?
One free light. Cool.
Extra flair.
Okay. Hurricane 4343 asks, will we be able to have people in the bed of the pickup?
Yes. The pickup truck is a 6-man vehicle as far as we're concerned right now. We've had this discussion. 2 in the front, 2 sitting on the wheel wells, and 2 sitting with their back against the rear window of the truck. And currently, you're not going to be able to shoot the players in the truck or shoot out from it, but that is on the wish list.
Oh, so if someone's out the back, you could just pick them off the back of the truck.
Yeah,
I'm kind of worried. Not yet. It's on the wish list. I don't think we can make.
A couple things to do before that, but yeah.
Yeah.
On that topic, I remember seeing a ways back, you guys were talking about having the zombies in various states of decay. Like you might be able to tell, like if someone was here possibly recently or further along ago. With that said, any possibility of putting zombies in vehicles?
Like driving? Or are you talking about they were trapped in there?
No. Not trapped. Like, for example, oh, geez, we killed a lot of zombies here. People are going to know that someone's going to know that we're around here. Can we throw them in the bed of the pickup truck to dispose of them? Or could there be health concerns to having a decaying zombie around your living area and you need to dispose of it or something and need to use the vehicles? The stench.
We haven't really talked about too much carrying them around. there's definitely some technical challenges there with networking, trying to throw things in like that.
Mm-hmm.
And we ran into a few problems in actually planet side doing that kind of physics movement that were pretty exploitable. So we'll have to see what we can handle for that. But I'd like to do something like that. I'm not sure how they're going to contain it yet.
Because then you could go.
Having a much more involved ability to pick someone up and drag them around before we do that.
Right.
Yeah, because then you could, if you killed a player and they knew where their body was, you could load up their body into a truck and drive it off somewhere. So when they come back, there's nothing there.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Put them in your pocket. Inventory slot.
Magic pockets.
Okay, so Black 8 Wolf asks, will there be CDC and or FEMA camps / bases?
Yes, in the future. John's already stated that. He wants CDC and
Yep. Not sure how far in the
That's
future, but it'll be in the future.
Cool. Okay, H1Z1 HQ asks, will hordes of zombies attack players' bases, damaging it?
We just got some of that support in now, and it looks pretty amazing. So yeah, we plan for that, absolutely.
Cool. Will they have the potential, if you've got a 2-story player-built structure and they start attacking the lower levels, and they, like, say if they break a wall or a foundation member down, would they have the potential to bring down an entire building?
Physics.
Potentially, but we're holding off on letting you build too many things too high until we can get the ramifications, because that's also a pretty huge performance problem. That's one of those things that kind of go to the server, and that's something you've got to watch closely at the beginning. The philosophy we have is we don't want to put something in the game we know is going to cause a performance problem.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to kind of ramp those up as we get to solve some of the optimization issues.
That actually leads into one of the questions somebody just asked. Well, what are the low end system specs? I guess they're asking, what's the basic lowest system that you'll be able to run this on? That was our question.
I'll tell you from experience. I've run it on a Core 2 Duo and a Core 2 Quad.
Wow.
With a 5 series NVIDIA card easily.
I'm not a nice technical director. Our graphics coder is forced to test on our lowest end machine.
Okay.
So he does have to account for performance on those machines. But my philosophy is real simple. We give you a min spec. We don't ever expect anyone to actually play that fully. You're not going to have a great time. I'd like to say we can guarantee 20 to 30 frames a second on those, but it's still it's a tough call because who knows exactly what's in the machine.
That's pretty awesome.
What it min spec is to point out, this processor or this graphics card is as low as you can go. Don't put them together, but if that's the graphics card you got, you'll be fine.
That's awesome. Hey, Stuckus?
Okay, so Communista87 asks, will we be able to hang dead zombies off the front of cars or hang them on the outer walls of our buildings?
Right now, the only way you get them on the vehicle is by balancing them, but if you hit them just right and you fly up under your hood, you can kind of keep them up there. But as far as attaching them, we haven't really talked about that too much yet.
I do want a big steak on the front of my vehicle and shish kebab, tons of zombies.
I mean, the engine has that kind of support, but there's issues with performance and that kind of thing. So those are skin characters, which are the most expensive.
Monetization.
So we got to figure out.
$1 have a zombie hand.
Yeah. Will you be able to add, attachments and whatnot to your vehicle, kind of like beef it up and reinforce it and whatnot, make it
Thunderdome it?
He wants the crew.
That's on the wish list.
That's definitely on the wish list. We'll be able to improve parts of the vehicle, but again, we're not sure all of the potential we'll have yet for the visual appearance changes.
Yeah, basically you want a 50 caliber on top of the truck.
Yes.
You want to stand in the back.
Essentially.
No, I just want an ice cream van. I don't care if it's completely. I don't care if it's completely cosmetic. I just want to be able to drive around in an ice cream van.
The awkward half out of tune jingle.
Yeah, it keeps missing a couple notes.
For your ice cream truck, you could do that.
Real quick, guys, we only about 10 more minutes that the Sony guys are going to be here, and then we're going to let them go. So quickly ask your questions, and Cyberwolf's here, which means we're going to have about 400 of them in about 10.
Okay, so let's have a look here. H1Z1 HQ asks, will there be other wildlife beside the ones we've already seen, and can they harm survivors as much like venomous snakes and such?
Yeah, there'll be more wildlife. I'm not sure. I mean, we've got what? We've got rabbits, ravens, deer,
With the buck
bears.
still.
Yeah, haven't put the buck in yet.
Yeah.
We've got the model for that. Bears and wolves.
The buck will probably have an attack as well, right? We were thinking about.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I also keep begging for
Deer are not
rattlesnakes.
nice things,
An
but
alligator would be cool.
Alligator, come on.
Rattlesnake?
Because you can use them as anti-venom. You know, you can make food with them.
Yeah.
They're really craftable.
The bugs will have an attack, but I'm working on that, but that's not done yet. They're in the current build, so those of us working on the team tend to actually see bugs running around. But right now, they're just using the same behaviors as the does until I can get around to fixing that.
Yeah, but the philosophy on the animals is very simple. We want to have things in the game that matter, so there'll be a use for that particular animal when it goes in.
What about useful from like an environmental distractibility standpoint? Like, I have not seen a single survival game that has bugs. Like, for example, mosquitoes. You're sitting there trying to keep your guard post up, and all of a sudden you hear that buzzing in your ear, and you're like distracted by it or whatnot. Or maybe you can make bug spray or something in the game because you're like trying to sneak
off the bugs, right?
You're trying to sneak up on someone, and then you're like, okay, I got him, and all of a sudden, and your character model goes, like swats it, and then everyone else hears that and looks over. Bringing use to non-conventional things.
Good idea.
I think insects are a great idea.
Plus, you just for atmosphere.
Or even if you come across a building and you sort of listen, or you walk up to the door, but you can hear like a horde of flies buzzing inside. Might be because there's zombies inside because they're attracted to them.
Does some of that right now with the birds, right? The birds kind of indicate where there's corpses because they fly and eat the corpse, basically. So we want that kind of thing is very important part of the game, actually.
Yeah, if you're really hungry, eat a roach.
Yeah.
Right?
What about like a nest of hornets and you can like shoot it and it falls down and breaks and starts attacking people and whatnot?
Or a bee's nest, you know there's honeycomb in there. And you could eat it, but at what risk? Things like that.
All right, let's move on to some of the other questions real quick because we're running out of time. By the way, Sparky, that bee in 7 Days to Die is not like a little tiny bee that's coming there. It's about the size of a small child. So
size of a dog.
Yeah, it's not like a little bee buzzing in your ear. All right.
Okay. So Enzor is asking, can we spawn near friends if we have already died? Or is it like DayZ where you spawn in a random position and you have to run 10-15 minutes before you might find anyone?
Based off the rule set, for one. That's the first level. Based on which rule set you're playing in, but go on.
The current thinking is that we're saying maybe within 1 or 2 kilometers is where you'll spawn, and you'll kind of be facing that guy, so you'll know which direction to go in. But we don't want you spawning right next to him because that's kind of again the exploitable part of that. But that's definitely something we'll have to tweak as we go out.
I think it's currently within a few kilometers of the other player. Is that right?
It's 1 to 2, I think.
1 and 2, yeah.
And you're using that heat map thing to drop you in, right? Is that still a thing or no?
That's different. The heat maps for the AI and spawning system.
Maybe that was an old thing. I thought that the heat map was supposed to be where you spawn in based off of, not by all the action that was going on in the area. So if it was a really quiet area, that's where they would pop you in. Maybe
that's where walkie-talkies could come in. You could, like, when you spawn in with a walkie-talkie, radio your location to your buddy, and he knows, point him out to the locations or the landmarks around him.
Well, we do take into consideration zombie placement whenever we drop in the world of things. Is that correct, Tom?
Not specifically.
Oh, I thought that didn't spawn you right in front of the zombie. I thought that was one of them.
Well, that is one of the things it tries to do.
Right. Stockers, look through the list and find 2 more really good ones because we're almost out of time.
Let's go see. Okay, this one's. Where are we?
Zombie Run maybe.
What's that?
I think the last one I just grabbed could be pretty good too.
We actually do the Zombie Run maze thing now. We can just take a zombie and lure him into a building and have somebody follow you in, try and get out.
That's awesome.
Oh, that could be
Trapping
fun.
people in would be so awesome.
Yes.
Okay, so Silly Kitty 88 wants to know if there will be natural disasters.
That's been a bit of a talking point. I don't know if we've talked about that
We
much.
talked about that a little bit. I think. I think for future, we love that things like earthquakes and stuff like that. But yes, that's definitely That's
a
wish
lot
list
further down.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
The weather's
Like all,
right now.
we don't even know it, but on like March 13th, server-wide earthquake, everything takes massive structural damage. The biggest groups and guilds brought down to their knees. It's just suddenly reset without resetting.
Yeah, remember that discussion we had earlier about not destroying a house instantly if you're offline? That kind of plays into that too, right?
Right. Come back, everything's flat.
Tornadoes just take your house away.
Okay.
Zombie NATO, yeah.
I'm not sure who.
That's a movie. No, there's.
Oh god.
And it's called Z Nation or something like that on Sci-Fi Channel, and they made a joke about a zombie NATO.
Sharknado's confirmed.
I'm not too sure who asked this one, but it's a good question. Will Double D's stories be used to hint key locations on the map for new crafting recipes or new craft recipes in the game? So basically, will his lore stories give you a hint of where you might find certain things, or will he also say, oh, this has been, people have made these and it's possible that they might be makeable in game?
Great question.
Wouldn't that be telling to answer that question?
It would be a little telling. I know that that was generally the idea when we were coming up with the script for Double D and Survivor Radio and all that. I don't know how much of it has found its way into the game yet, but going forward, I mean, we do want to reward people who actually care about that kind of thing by putting in, like some small amount of Easter eggs, or like, oh, I heard about this, and this is the restaurant where that happened, that kind of thing.
Be fantastic.
Yeah, right now there's not so much of that in there, but that's definitely something we're interested in. I know a lot of people were asking if like there was a radio tower, and if you were within a certain proximity of the radio tower, you could hear the survivor stories going on. Like Double D had set up the recording, and it was just continuing to play and stuff like that. So those are awesome ideas. I would love to see that in game. Right now, not so much, but further down the road, and as more Double D stories come out, I'm sure we could work in something like that. I think it'd be cool.
I see a question up there that we can answer. Have you thought about implementing a player-ran radio that can be listened to via radios in cars, found in houses, etc.? We always talk about having these multi-channel radios, to where there may be 20 channels on it, and maybe Tom and I know to communicate over channel 14. But that doesn't mean that you, as another player, doesn't have the same radio and tunes into channel 14 and hears our conversation. We talk about weird things like that, so it's always a possibility.
I mean, you could start using codes, using some basic code stuff when you're on the radio. Be like, I think somebody's listening in.
There's a lot of good things you can do with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can be informative and not informative at the same time.
Yeah.
There'd be so many better games if like TeamSpeak didn't exist. Like,
well,
having a radio
that's actually something I was going to bring up, because I've been seeing, as you guys have been streaming, you're all sort of like, everybody's using headset. Like, they're all talking, like, how come you didn't talk to me? Well, what's going to happen in the game when somebody's not, they're on their TeamSpeak, but they're not necessarily talking in game? Is that going to cause problems? I mean, I guess it could cause some communication problems. And death, maybe.
Well, I mean, TeamSpeak's going to be there regardless. There's no way to control that. But,
right.
It is what it is.
We use the in-game VoIP we have now, the Hitbox system that PlanetSide uses, and that's what we're using for the proximity stuff and the radio channel.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't use TeamSpeak, so I know it's popular among the hardcore gamers, but which is probably our gamers, but there's a lot of people who just use the in-game chat anyway.
True, yeah.
It's really how much somebody wants to be immersed in the game that they're currently playing.
Right.
Do they want to role play? If so, they'll probably use something that everyone can hear. Do they want to just talk to their friends? Then they'll probably use something third party.
Additionally, the random Joe that you come across in our world probably is not going to be on your TeamSpeak.
Right. Right, and it's also proximal, right? So, however, if you're 10 feet away from somebody, it sounds different than if you're 100 feet away from somebody.
It is fun to walk around in the game and find someplace to hide, wait for them to come by and go, hi!
Where was that? Yeah.
Have you guys worked out whether or not the zombies are going to be able to react to the in-game VoIP yet?
Yeah, that's a good question.
It's something we'd like and people have asked for, but the thing that comes up is if we force that to always be the case, people will tend to not use VoIP. That's what we kind of decided is. So it's kind of an up in the air question still at this point, is whether or not that's going to encourage or discourage use of the word.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But you have the technology to do that, right? I mean, that could be.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do that right now if we wanted to. It's just that it may not be good for gameplay, and that's kind of the issue. I don't have a problem with saying I want to make a loud noise, but if I'm forced to make a loud noise, I'm sitting there and I've got auto trigger on, and my kid comes running and goes ah, and then cause that to happen. That could be a bad experience for me, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, James.
All right, great. Well, I wanted to thank you guys so much for coming. I know you have to get out of here, so thank you so much for hopping on the show with us this week.
You're welcome. I saw one more question I want to answer.
Oh, please, yeah. If you guys want to answer more questions,
yeah.
I thought there was a time limit to get you out of here.
Having servers, and it's a point of we've tested now 50 to 100, and it's pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
We have our own systems we use to test up to 700 or 800 people at a time usually, and that's fine as well. And PlanetSide does 1,500 to 2,000 on a server.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're going to be using early access for is determining how many guys is fun and what kind of play sessions that's going to be. So it could be anywhere from 100 to 1,000 people on a server, and maybe even have servers with both of those sets on.
1,000 people, and then could you just real quick confirm a little bit about the map, because some people have said it could be as big as the state of Connecticut.
Roughly, yeah, 16,000 square kilometers is the tech we're looking at.
Wow, that's awesome. That is just so killer.
Ooh, that won't be EA, right?
Right, yeah.
It's not going to be at early access, and how long into early access that comes online is still up in the air. Because the tool set for developing worlds that are that large is crazy, and we got to make sure that works well.
Mm-hmm.
I have one question if there's time.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Do you guys have any plans to do any community-centered events? Something like
a zombie walk?
Let's say no. When I mean like in-game having objectives that mutually benefit everybody by being completed. Like let's say for example that there's a totally damaged dam. And if you got tons of people together to either repair it or maintain it, it would at least give a supply of water, electricity, something, so long as it was maintained. Not something that, well, I guess someone could own it or something, but something that would require a lot of manpower to be able to do, that would give some sort of centered mutual goal that would benefit everybody around the area of that.
See, I think that all plays into our player rule set servers. So if we see something interesting that we can do like that, and it's implemented as a rule set, fire up a server, and if it proves to be popular, we'd stick around, So we'll be experimenting with rule sets quite a bit, I think. And the ones that we lock down for a longer period of time, who knows which ones they're going to be. But I don't think we're limited by anything at the current, there's a lot of things we can track. And
yeah, there's no reason we can't just, try a dev rule set for a weekend and see if you guys like it, and expand from there. That's kind of the idea we like on those servers.
And they're really easy to fire up rule sets for us. So we could, if we want to have an event, I think we could probably talk it out and have a set of rules for it within a couple of days, typically, right?
Well, it depends.
It depends what it is, but for the most part, I think we can support stuff like that.
You're a producer, you're always take up.
That's my job.
All right.
When you do it, can I just when you announce those rule sets, what sort of media formats will you use to announce that? Oh, okay, guys, we've now got this rule set we're trying for a weekend. Go for it. What will you use to announce that?
Probably our Launchpad system, right? So the launcher has that usual stuff, and you can pop up and that. We'll post it on Reddit kind of for you.
Yeah, obviously it'll be on all the social channels and things like that, letting people know at least a week in advance. This is coming up this weekend. Everyone's gonna try and take the dam. That kind of thing. So.
Thank you.
All right, great. I don't want to hold you guys up any longer because I think we only said about 30 minutes and it's been 45. So, thank you so much for coming. And
yeah,
it's been fun.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it. So, any last little bit of tidbits that you want to pass on? Anything exclusive you want to say?
Yeah.
Nothing release date. Just anything cool.
Keep up with us on Twitter.
Yeah.
We're always posting stuff. So if you guys like interesting tidbits of news.
Yeah, I think we've got a couple of dev blogs coming out and dev videos that have little bits of information that are new every time. So I know the last couple have had some pretty interesting stuff. Like I think Jimmy put out the one with the like had a crossbow in it, and then we revealed the truck and things like that. So definitely continue to follow our Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, all those social channels. You'll see some cool things coming up pretty soon.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us, you guys.
Yeah, thanks.
Have a nice weekend.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna just bring up the intro again so they can turn the camera off, and we'll get it all set right back up. I'll be right back, everybody.
Some say it grew from our malice and indifference. Some say it was retribution from the heavens. All we know is the pandemic began somewhere. Somewhere cursed, dark, and filled with sorrow. Future generations will wonder how it all started. We will tell them the infection began with PodcastZERO.
Because bike lines quick. Fuck it.
Nice.
Oh, jeez. Thought you muted us.
That's cool. Why?
The hard-hitting ones, Domo. The hard-hitting ones.
I think we're still muted.
Yeah, I was muted. You're not. Sorry.
Oh shit.
Lol.
I always mute myself. What do you expect? I can't seem to get that working. Right. Let's see. I gotta edit this real quick and put everyone back in their little holes.
I so want to see additions to the bicycle as monetization options. That would be like have a little flower basket at the front.
I couldn't for the life of me figure out what this darn thing is called. I didn't want to ask it to them, but what's the thing that goes in front of your vehicle that kind of is like a
plow?
A plow, yeah, that kind of thing.
A wedge, a ramrod.
There's like a specific name for it though.
Car ramrod.
Car ramrod.
It's like car ramrod.
Let's go.
Oh, you mean like a cattle pull nose or something, whatever you call it.
I thought it was like a cow something.
Yeah, well, that's like on the front of a train.
Cow plow.
Cow catcher.
Cow catcher.
Yeah, cow catcher. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the idea of the community events thing. Like, if there's like a single train that goes across the whole map, and keeping it up and running, you know, obviously the powerful PvPers will own it and rob you every time you use it. But I mean, fast travel, keep a train going.
All right, so we can bullet brush guard. There we go. If you guys want to start answering some of the questions from them from earlier, we can go ahead and do that. I'm just trying to fix this window. I don't know what's going on.
Yep, it's the cow catcher.
A push bar, someone says.
Push bar, yeah, that works too.
Push bar.
We call them the little ones you put on your car. We call them nudge bars. You put on your vehicle.
Nudge you out of the way with my 70-mile-an-hour car.
Pretty much. Or a bull bar. Oh, come on. What the hell? Twitch chat. Don't you be doing this to me.
How?
Oh, okay. Every time I scroll up to try and get the previous questions, it just automatically zips me back to the bottom of the chat. I don't even have enough time to grab a question.
Because we got chat going by so fast?
No. It's not that. It's just every time I scroll up and leave it there, within 2 seconds it just...
No.
Sorry.
I don't know.
Hang on, I might try reloading the page.
Front grill.
The front grill. Get up off my
So
grills.
we're going back to Vapidcast now, guys. So if you have any questions, go ahead and keep asking them. But at this point, we're not developers, as you know. So
We're in like Theorycraft I Wish mode right now.
yeah, Theorycraft. This would be great. This is kind of where we live. Having actual developers on is it's difficult. It blows the whole vapidity out the window. What's that?
We just want to.
No, we're not. I don't even want to be a developer. It's too hard. Too much work. I just want to play the game. There we go.
The latest stream that you're showing now had so many awesome things.
Oh,
in
absolutely.
It looks beautiful.
Oh my god!
Like
giant satellites.
What? What happened?
You're better now. I got you fixed. Okay.
Do to me.
Is this going to be a free to play game? Yep, it's a free game. Yeah. We
That's
have.
one of the things that they're talking about is the difficulties with the monetization. That's why we were asking so many questions about it.
Yeah, it's tough, right? I mean, what are they going to do? They could do T-shirts. They could do hats.
Nobody wants to pay for games anymore.
Right.
People don't realize if you don't pay for a game, you're gonna get a shit game.
Exactly.
But then why not have a subscription model then? Why not?
Because that's so 1990 wow or something.
I can't afford to spend $15 a month on something I enjoy the entire month.
What's that? I clock 500 hours a month on this game. I won't pay anything for that.
I spend $20 a meal every day, but I'd rather not spend $50 on a game I get hours and hours of enjoyment out of.
It's one of the reasons why mobile gaming is in the crapper. It's because like nobody wants to pay for a mobile game if it's anything more than like 10 cents.
So what if they do an ArcAge? Like it's free to play, you get all this stuff, but if you subscribe, then you can get a bigger piece of land or something, a car.
But that's pay to win.
Yeah, ArcAge.
I don't. If you have to pay to win, I won't even do anything.
Even though they're the ones saying they don't want to pay, and they think that just because you do pay, you shouldn't be able to get any. I'm paying $50 a month. If I don't get special perks for that, I'm gonna be pissed. Because I'm paying more than you. You should expect to know that I'm going to get more benefits than you because I'm paying. It's not. Shit. I don't know how to spin this. There's two sides.
The free-to-play model generation ruined that aspect of gaming. Now you have to expect there to be paywalls. You have to expect there to be corners cut. You have to expect there to be incentives for paying. Because nobody wants to pay anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do pay to support the game, then damn it, you're pay to win. And insert bad press and whatnot.
I'd rather just pay $50-$60 outright for the game. Like I would be cool with that.
There's continual services and things like that. You know, it's like paying for.
True.
Which is maybe what DayZ's problem is, because everyone's bought the game and now they've spent all the money on hookers and blow.
Yeah. We're gonna be on PS4. Woo!
I think even if they go with the free to play microtransaction store, if I enjoy the game enough and I like it and I deem it worth it, I'm probably going to spend $50-$60 on it in the store, buying little bits and pieces anyway, just because that's the amount of money I'd expect to pay out of a good game.
Pay
That's
to win.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to
shame on you for spending money where I can't because
you are not where you can't, where you choose not to. If you have a computer that can play any games, I
refuse to pay money on games because I don't believe in it.
But you understand, Stagas, you
I
are
just
the
want the
minority.
best game for free.
Like for me, I frequently browse and kickstart things. You know, I frequently do support. I often pick the payment option, not because just it helps with giving you in-game stuff usually, but because I want the game to get updates. I want the game to have quality.
All right. So here's a thing Gaylord just brought up, and that is the problem. And maybe it's because it's a Korean. No, I don't know. But ArcAge is completely loaded with bots.
Oh my god!
Yep. Now it's over. They have.
They're so clever. I mean, they got a way to delete their name so you can't click on their name to ignore them. So they just keep spam, and you can't find their name. So people have to literally go to the starting zone to click on the person in person and find their name because.
Yeah, and of course they're crouching in a bush or something like that, so you can. Well, did you see that they have bots that they've actually hacked ArcAge?
Yeah.
Really?
The ones where they disappear and stuff?
No, for properties.
Oh.
Do you hear about this?
I
No.
did not.
They found a way to hack it. It first happened on the Russian servers, and it's now happening everywhere else. But basically, you know how people say there's no more land anymore, and people are selling land for money.
Mm-hmm.
It's because there's a program set up now that the bots will automatically purchase within a millisecond any property that becomes available from anywhere in the world. So basically, if anybody defaults on their rent in game, they pick it up and they sell it for real life money.
Wow.
That game is messed up right now.
It is so messed up.
Totally messed up. Did not even scratch the surface of what I was hoping it would do.
I love how no one's mentioned the fact that in the game right now there is LSD that you can get completely fucked up on.
Now hold on, because they called it an energy drink, but yes, it was tripping balls.
Energy drink. It was tripping balls.
Yeah, I think they're doing that for countries like mine, where there's no purpose. If they were to call it acid or something
energy
legitimate,
drink tongue tablets.
If they
Fun pills.
Vitamin A.
If they called it anything other than an energy drink, our government and our what's the word I'm looking for? Our ratings laws would pick up that and would then nuke it basically, because if it's not deemed an essential part of the game, if it's not in context with the game, and if it doesn't have a specific purpose, then they deem it to be advertising the use of illicit drugs, and then they will go, no, can't have that, and then shut the shit down.
Right.
But an energy drink, I mean, that's okay.
There's nothing wrong with an energy drink.
Nothing wrong with an energy drink.
Exactly, that was, I think, their reasoning behind it is for ratings and stuff like that. So, because if they were to just go out and call it what it was, and
happy juice,
meth or whatever you want to call it, those blue crystals, yeah, they'd swoop. Our government would swoop on that pretty quickly and just go, well, what's the benefit? Why are you consuming this in the game? Well, you're doing it because you can, and make shit go all trippy.
Charisma.
Yeah.
It gives you a stat.
Plus 5 to dancing.
There you go.
All right, let's go. I guess we can get back to some of the questions here. We got some good ones. First off, first question. 7 people have asked in the last 2 minutes. We have no idea when the game is coming out.
Actually, it's tomorrow. Whoops.
They would not tell us, obviously, because it's like the biggest thing that they're keeping secret close to their chest. They're not going to tell us when the game comes out.
Sony probably hasn't had a bigger secret than this in years.
Yeah,
I think. This is the biggest hyped up thing that Sony has had in a long time, and they are keeping it very, very close to chest.
It came out 2 weeks ago. I've been playing it. Why haven't you been playing it?
There right now, you just can't see it.
All right, Stockus, go for it.
What am I going for?
Another question?
Which the ones that we didn't end up?
Yeah, there was a ton. There was at least 20 or 30.
Yeah,
more.
I know. I couldn't grab half of them.
That's okay.
Hang on. Hang on.
See, Dave admits it. He's been playing it for months.
But Dave, you're a developer, Dave.
Will there be groups, clans, so I know which is my friend and where?
Probably. It's running on the PlanetSide 2 engine, which means that, if you strip everything out of the PlanetSide 2 game, all of the functions are available for utilization. So the outfit, which is the guild system, is in there. So you could easily, suspend disbelief that they would maybe rearrange that, maybe have a family system or a clan system or something of some sort. So they had mentioned that while there's nothing concrete, they're fully capable of doing that, and they are always looking for ways to have people be able to play together with their friends and, come together to fight the environment and other players.
Dave, tell us or we'll steal your pants. This is a no pants zone.
He wasn't even wearing pants.
Yeah, he's already got no pants on. Loco asks, is there even a hint at anything like soon? Yes. Everybody who went to SOE Live, you can type in SOE, capital SON, and that's what you get.
I didn't get that.
You didn't get that?
No.
You can get the Sony emotes?
No.
Oh.
I was too stingy. I'd much rather get them for free.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't want to pay for anything like that. Shame on them.
Pay to win, better emotes.
Pay to win. Yep. Pay to win emotes right there.
It is. That emote gets me all kinds of benefits with the ladies.
Yep. I'm coming soon to you. Oh.
Shed, we don't know. We should. I just said it was a scrolling. We don't have any idea when this game's coming out. Stop asking. The game is.
There will not be
The game is.
player-owned servers.
Sorry.
350.
It's going to. This game is a zombie survival game based off of a lot of the games we all enjoy in the genre. H1Z1 is going to be based off of Rust, DayZ, 7 Days to Die. What else, guys? What do you think? They're taking the best shit, piling it all together, and making a game that we can actually play. There's a landmine right there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there are landmines.
The best shit. I missed that part of the before. Best shit. They're putting it all together in a big bucket and saying we're going to release a AAA title that nobody else has been able to do yet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of people have been asking too about what's going to set this game apart between people just coming together to kill each other, because every time they've seen people stream, that seems to be the first thing that they just try to do immediately.
Mm-hmm.
That's always going to be the biggest challenge for a game like this, and I think it's one of the things that is both the ups and downs of it, because PvP is a part of it. Unfortunately, as any developer might, you're never going to be able to catch that sentimental value of human life in a video game. Nobody's going to care or think twice about killing your avatar. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, as much as people would like to put an emphasis on the fact that you want to have people working together, or maybe considering not just griefing someone because lol respawn, it's going to be very difficult to keep it from being just a glorified deathmatch, and they're aware of that.
That's one of the big things they're working on, and that was something I didn't really even bring up to the devs want to talk about. But a game like Life is Feudal that we've been playing in our Gomo tribe, we've been playing, is a great example of having a game that you have to work together. I mean, there is no other choice. You don't have the skills to live your life in that game by yourself. You have to work with somebody else. So, because of that, if you just turn that into from being a feudal life simulator, but being a zombies apocalypse simulator, same kind of thing can happen. You can make it to where the zombies are so tough and the environment is just so raw that you there's like being by yourself is a no-win situation. Okay, so you have to play with somebody else.
But then you'll get the people who are like, all right, well, I'm just going to wait to kill you, then go back to my spider hole and hide.
But that is a viable play style in this game, of course.
Right.
You know, you befriend somebody, you get everything you need from them and kill them. And they do it on like The Walking Dead all the time. You know, it's kind of one of those things.
B MacBook is mentioning if you die in the game, you die in real life. This needs to be a thing.
Sort of. Yep. No, I don't want to do permadeath.
Yep.
No, but they did say that there will be rule sets where if your character dies in the game, literally all the stuff that you've learned, everything just gone. You are literally starting again, afresh. You have to relearn everything. You have to, you won't spawn back with anything at all. So that's going to be a rule set that they're going to have for ultra hardcore.
Ultra hardcore, which is cool. Might want to try that out myself, actually.
Yeah.
How big is the map? Well, you missed that part, Fluffenstein. 16,000 square kilometers. Eventually, it might not be that big in early access, but that puts DayZ to shame. How big is DayZ?
They haven't stated that they're ever going to have a persistent map that full size, but the engine that they're using has the potential to create a map.
That's true.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to manage
maybe half of that or
square kilometer map with how many hundreds of thousands of people.
Well, I mean, okay, so let's just say half, 8,000. That's still significantly
Still
bigger than a Daisy. What's Daisy right now? 64?
200 and...
Oh, Chinaroos is 225. There we go.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
225 to 8,000 is big. So talk about a running simulator. But there are vehicles that work in this game, and so you might be able to get a car and put it back together. And that's the deal. You're going to find a Jeep, you're going to find a truck that they announced today, maybe a bicycle, and it'll be broken, and you can run around trying to find the parts to get it back together. You know, that's kind of one of the fun parts of a survival game, is to try to hunt parts down that you need.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And when they've got a map that big, that's where Tangent's suggestions of something like maybe a
dam.
Yeah.
Well, even that, yeah, but I mean like a train or something, maybe something that's not necessarily an individually player-owned device like a car or a bike, but it's a communal type thing, and if that community deemed to do so, they could keep it running, and then you'd have some form of transport across the map, which would be kind of cool.
It's going to be, they can be up to 1,000 people right now on the server, maybe more, that they were saying.
If they wanted.
If they wanted, yeah. So, you know, like in DayZ, you got a map of 225 kilometers. That's been really good now, when they're doing the breaking off of the plywood. It's coming off in really good chunks. It looks like plywood pieces coming. Anyway, and you've got 40 people on a server. 40 people on a server of 200 is a lot different than 1,000 on a server of even 500 miles or 1,000 miles or something like that. All paths lead to the terminus. That's a great idea. Oh my god, would that be great?
Yeah. Will there be an open beta for H1Z1? I think they're just going to go straight to early access.
Yeah, I think so too. Early access is going to be $20, everybody, and then the game will be free to play when it comes out. Okay. So, a question from Gatelord. From what I know about building your bases, you have to use resources to make things. Will things like that take weeks and months to build your base? That's all balance issues. We don't know yet. It could, you know, Mike's played it. Did you get a chance to actually build anything? I think the only person who built something at SOE Live was Co, right? Or you did?
Yeah, we actually got to build a little bit.
Porch or something.
Okay. How long did it take you to gather the materials and put that together?
We build a lot of metal structures, and essentially what you can do right now is you can just take your machete or whatever, and you can chop off slabs of metal from cars, and there's so many cars.
Mm-hmm.
The real trick is getting the blueprints or whatever to make the specific parts needed to build the bases. But once you got those, you can essentially find everything you need and put it all together fairly easy. You just got, you know, trial and error to figure out which blueprint is which and how to make them and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like as you said, Domo, it's a balance thing. I don't mind spending 10 hours trying to find all of the materials to make a base, as long as it takes as long, if not longer, for someone to try and destroy it.
Right.
It's that balance. So if it takes 20 minutes to find the materials to build it, and it only takes someone half an hour to destroy it, well, then that's another 20 minutes to find the gear to build another one, right?
Yeah.
But you want that balance.
Black 8 Wolf, yes, they taste lovely.
I know it will never happen, but I really wish they had some sort of like RPG level progression, or not level, but skill progression.
This game's all like is DayZ, you know. See, there is no skill.
I know,
yeah.
I know, but it's like I want to see like a really rich medical tree, where it's like, because you're assuming that every single person who respawns is basically blind, deaf, dumb, skillless, everything. But it's like, why can't you respawn as a different person, but this person happens to be slightly better?
Because how it's going to work is, instead of it having like a medical tree where you'll automatically know that first aid, you as yourself, as the player that's running the character, will know that, okay, now I'm starting over. I want to go back to being a medical guy. I've got to go find myself this thing, I got to find that thing, I got to find this scalpel, and if I put these three things together, it will make X. Even though that's not in my recipe list, I know that that's what that'll do. And then I got to get these 5 things to make bandages. I got to get these 3 things to make a syringe. So you know that in your head. So all you really have to do is just go through the process again. So you're actually sort of training yourself to be that character that you're thinking of doing. Like, you want to be the medical guy, so you could still be a medical guy, but you're not relying on it being sort of built into the game. You have to know that, learn that knowledge yourself.
I thought early on they were talking about not so much a leveling type deal, but say you want to be a medic and you make a bunch of bandages, you bandage a bunch of people up. The more people you bandage, it was supposed to be, I don't know how much they've changed it now, but the more people you bandage, the less and less chance of infection there was, and also the more what's the word I'm looking for? Efficient.
Mhm.
Your bandaging became. So if you start off, you get a dirty cloth bandage and you wrap up someone's wound, it might heal them for 5 HP, and there's like a 20% risk of infection.
There's this gasoline rag I found.
Exactly. But then the more you do it, maybe you've done it 100 times, and
Still a gasoline rag.
you know, but you might have the ability, you might find the ability to make
To
a
wring
clean
it out.
rag. You know, a clean rag. You find a bit of cloth, and then you can get the grain alcohol, and you sterilize it to a degree. And then when you do it the 100th time, it might heal them for 10, 15 HP, and then there's a 1% chance of infection. So it's not really a level thing, but it's just the more you do something, the more proficient you become at it, but then it's supposed to be lost when you die. So that's kind of giving you that.
Yeah, and I get that. I guess I it's hard for me to explain it, but I think I just see, like, if you we're just sticking to the medical example, for example.
Okay.
Skills could be like almost like a bargaining tool.
Oh yeah,
You know,
but that's
like,
that's Life is Feudal right there. That's why Life is Feudal works, is because it's all about those skills that you have that nobody else has, right?
Right, and so it's like you suddenly get jumped on by ex-PK guild that's like, you know, just killing people,
Mhm.
and they're like,
Don't
give us
try.
everything you got or we kill you. And you say, I got nothing, but I can heal broken bones. I can set broken bones. And that's like a skill that requires like balls deep in the medical field.
Balls deep.
All right,
Balls
keep him
deep in the
alive.
medical
He's
field.
not now our new
And
doctor.
then they're like, they're like, dude, the second in command has like a broken wrist. He can't shoot for shit anymore. And they're like, suddenly you are of use to the environment and the community. That's.
But you're also number one guy to kill, because if that band of pirate guys that keep killing everybody wants to take you out first because you keep healing all these people back up.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
People fight wars over you.
So let them. You know, hell, instead of like Helen of Troy, it'll be
I was
like
gonna say Helen.
it'll be like Jim of South Street.
Right.
You know?
Saving Private Jim. He's stuck behind enemy lines.
All right. What do we got next?
I don't know.
Zombie dogs. No, it's not like 7 Days to Die zombie dogs, as far as we know.
There's zombie wolves.
Well, they're just wolves.
Yeah.
Bang Bang Express is asking what kind of items do they plan to sell for the monetization?
Right now we know for sure shirts and hats and stuff like that in-game items that like, and Tangent's idea of doing sort of like throwbacks to other Sony products is a good idea.
Oh yeah, Furiona.
You want to dress your really overweight pouch belly dude up as Verona Vey?
I can't help the fact that, you know what, my guy is going to be
Transgender.
round, because you know what, it's gonna be like back in colonial times. Fat was sexy, okay?
Okay, but fat and
You're
sexy.
well-
Yeah, I get that, but I can't see him shoving it into an outfit like Verona.
Well, if it's a status to show that you can eat and you can also look like Furiona Vibe, then why not?
Oh yeah. I was her once, by the way.
Being out of game, you're also wealthy.
I used to be a GM or a guide on Irolosi Mar, and when the Runes of Kunark came out, I got to roleplay as her because they needed different people to roleplay different parts, and they gave me a script and everything, and I literally would just type in what I was saying. There's no voice in those days, so we just type in what she was. I had a script I would type out and put in there, and I walked around as her for like, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours one day. It was pretty fun. So I've been her. All right, you just jelly.
I am. Did that Jeep just pop a tire hitting a zombie?
I don't think it popped the tire. I think it was popping.
Looks like it popped a tire.
It was popping tags, I think.
Well, look.
Yeah, it looks a little flat, doesn't it?
People were asking about car damage. I was like, it
Yeah,
didn't
there
really
is
hit
car damage, and he even what's his name?
That's why I asked a question about the exploding bicycle, because it's like, if I'm going to spend like a week trying to get this rust bucket to go down the street, I don't want to like take a turn into a, there's like a pebble in the road and have it just explode.
Shankman said that there would be lots of damaged states.
Or if they were to utilize anything like the DayZ mod damage states, it depends entirely on the condition of the parts you repaired the car with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Each individual spare part has its my brain is completely blank today.
I know what you're saying. Yeah, each one. So it's a sum of everything. So if you
durability,
right? So if you have like 5,
Yeah, if your spark plugs are half worn and your battery's almost dead, and all these other parts that you repair the vehicle with, it's just not going to have a great lifespan. Its entire whole durability is going to be lowered because the quality of the parts you're using to repair it are down. But if you manage to find some perfect tires and then put them on there, and then you manage to find a full battery and then put it on there, then chances are that the thing's going to last a hell of a lot longer. So it's all going to come down to the quality of the stuff that you scavenge to repair the vehicle.
Yeah.
If they use that, it would make sense that if you use shitty stuff to repair it, it's not going to last very long.
Rizmo says that the game looks washed out, but that's intentional. That's the style that they're going for. If you look at a lot of even DayZ, that's pretty washed out. You watch The Walking Dead, everything is sort of muted colors. There's no like really deep, vibrant, saturated colors unless you're talking about the blood. Everything else is just sort of gray and beige.
On the topic of the durability thing, one thing that I think is probably one of the hardest things for developers to balance is how hardcore do they want a game like this to be? Because there's the people that want it to be like have so many different durability stages and have different quality stages of various items.
12 gauge to the back of the head.
What was that?
Be cool, man. Put the knife away.
Scared away by the prospect.
Don't try.
All right, man. I mean, anything other than shooting a player.
Mm-hmm.
Is your name on the side of the house?
One thing that is going to be really interesting to see is
Because
how
last
they
time I
approach
checked,
that. Because there are some games
doesn't say
in the early
Jimmy
access
Wizzle
list
is
that
his
are
first name.
totally unforgiving. Don't hold your hand, and it's just like,
hey,
you
are you
need
cool?
to
Are you
basically
cool?
have knowledge, real world knowledge of what
You got any
you're
hyperferon?
doing in order to do it. Sometimes the realism can take away from the
Hyperferon.
fun.
Hyperferon.
And I'm wondering
I
how.
don't want your backpack. I want hyperferon.
How
I've got
hardcore they're going to make it. They mentioned they were trying to make the crafting system pretty straightforward to use.
Oh,
I wonder if
is it
the
raw?
depth that's going to be there is going to actually
all
right, throw it on the ground.
Hamper it.
Throw it on the ground right now.
Hold on,
All
I
right.
guess I said my
Check out this
sound
magic.
in the video just went up really low.
It's gonna get raw here in a minute.
Hold on.
Oh, I was gonna share my swizzle with you.
Got the video volume turned all the way down.
Shenanigans. Hey, he dropped the backpack. Is this better
Can I
than
take
you
these
got?
birds out? Let me try this.
You can. Do you have a shotgun?
Yeah.
I have it muted. That's
I think
the
the
problem.
sound is.
Oh.
What? Where are all these people?
There's one.
Hold on.
Take that.
Let me turn it off and turn it back on again, maybe. Okay, that was weird. Sorry about that, everybody. It looks like it's not going now. Yeah, I'm actually running it locally. It's not on YouTube. So loud they couldn't hear you, Tangent. Okay, it looks like it's down. It's fixed. Okay. Sorry about that, everybody. I didn't realize it was doing that. So, technical difficulties. We have them all the time. Continue on. Sorry about that, Tangent.
Oh no, just with games like these, they obviously attract the more hardcore players.
Mm-hmm.
But is the hardcore community really their target demo? Is there enough sustainability in only catering to those people? So like, what are they going to do to make the game accessible to both people who want to have a rich, in-depth, hardcore, need to know what you're doing crafting system versus the people that kind of want to be relevant with just casually playing the game?
I think that's the flexibility of their rule sets, though.
Mhm.
You know, if you want a really, really hand-holdy, this is really easy game, then I guess they can just make a rule set to
PvE
cater
only
for that.
server.
Yeah, you know. But then those of us who do want that immersive shit your pants every time you hear a noise type of deal, there'll be a rule set for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they've done themselves a service in being open to these different rule sets and sort of listening to what people want. I mean, they're probably going to have standard run-of-the-mill, well, this is what we think a rule set should be. Then, of course, they're going to listen to the community and implement testing sets.
Wolfenstein.
Who's gonna
Oops, sorry.
pick the rule sets? Like,
Well, they will.
They will.
They've always said that they will. They will have the end
they'll
say.
choose it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they'll listen to what people want, and if there's enough people who want a particular thing, they'll trial implement it for a while and say, look, okay, we've had thousands of people say they want this type of rule set. We're going to implement it for a weekend to a week, whatever. If you like it, if people enjoy it, if it is populated the entire time, they will probably keep it. But they'll end up getting the last say. I'm pretty sure Smedley even said that early on. When it comes down to who decides what rule set stays and goes, it'll be up to them in the end anyway.
Mm-hmm.
We have no idea, Deadly Gamer, when this game's coming out, for PS4 or PC.
Are those crows circling the dead body?
They are, yeah. That's one thing they
That's
mentioned. Yeah.
so cool.
Isn't that cool? That's one way you can
Okay.
find a body or a zombie corpse.
Yeah, this latest update that they're showing in that vid that you've got going has got so much more stuff in it from the last time they showed any stuff.
It's becoming
just
richer.
ridiculous. Oh yeah.
I'm definitely gonna go around with spray paint everyone's buildings.
Uh,
That was here.
Lots of
That
brutal.
was here.
There will be a leaderboard, and how it's going to work is you get in the game. The guy that's still alive is winning. Everybody else, that they're dead,
They lost.
they lost. And yeah, the food's going rotten just right there. Yeah, he was saying watch the video.
Fan of
Food
that.
And
I want my meat to go rotten.
I think it was on their YouTube page. I think it's only just today for you guys. It was yesterday for me. Their latest dev spotlight video actually shows the most current, up-to-date sort of vista views of the landscape and everything. And I have to say, compared to their older stuff, the resolution and the quality of the textures is just far better than it's ever been. Far better.
Look when they're looking off into the distance here, how you can see the atmosphere, and it's kind of got a haze to it.
Yeah, I was gonna say the lighting is gorgeous, particularly at like nightfall.
Look at him standing on those steps too. When he's standing on those stairs, his feet are on different levels. So he's got his knee bent. It just looks very realistic. Yeah, it's not perfect, but it's not as bad as Arma. It's Arma to me seems very wooden and sort of rubbery, and I don't know. At the same time,
Arma seems to be more about the environment and less about the player.
Yeah.
It's like the game looks immersive until you see a player standing in it.
Let's see. So Tenacious says we've got some good comments here. Okay, I'm one that likes to save money, but I believe there should be at least $20 charge for all people, not just early access. The reason for this is I understand Sony's trying to advertise this game is free to play, so get into their game, but the funds the game develops can go into making games like this possible and maybe even add-ons. Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, people will spend money on a game. Look at Star Citizen. A group of 400,000 people in Star Citizen have forked over $58 million.
It's up to nearly 600,000.
600,000 people have forked over $58 million. You do the math. Tell me how much each person has spent on average. Because that's just ridiculous. And we're bitching about spending $20 for a game that we're going to spend, 50 hours a week playing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I understand they want to call it a free to play, and I totally agree with you, Tenacious. Is that for God's sake, let's just charge $25 for the game, and then it's it. Okay, and then it'll be free to play after that. It's just make it buy to play. You buy $25, and then there's monetization in there. So what? Almost all games have monetization now, even if they're not supposed to. I mean, World of Warcraft has a subscription, and they're still monetizing the damn thing with store items
They
like,
do?
oh yeah,
Oh, well.
mounts and pets.
I bought like all the pets and mounts.
Yeah.
I just wanted to collect them all. Couldn't help myself.
Yeah. So
Is that mount guy?
I don't think there's a problem with monetization at all, really. So
I did the math. It's $100 per person.
$100 per person.
Yeah.
For what?
600,000 spending 58 million. Yeah, it's about $100 per person. You're right.
Yeah.
But there's about I would say about 300,000 actually haven't bought ships yet. So now do the math.
200?
Actually, it's probably a little less than that.
I don't think WoW's a bad example, Nisco, because WoW is a game that's been around forever, and it's subscription, and it's got a store. This is not even going to have either or.
And they sell expansions every year.
And they sell expansions every year. Right.
They're like $60, like a brand new game every year.
Mm-hmm. They need money. They need to make some money somehow, and that's the part that I think that most people have been saying is that it's. Oh my God!
Jesus Christ!
Let me read this.
Text.
Oh, hold on. Let me go back up there because Vampiro Leone said, "Example of life is feudal is a good one, or great one. If you're forced to survive in a community and depend on others to make things work, then it would be more realistic as The Walking Dead. Fine, you would have bandits, but they would have to be susceptible to the same dangers as everyone else. The lead construction person gets killed, and the base can't get repaired. The healer is killed. More people die from wounds. The farmer provides food for the cook. Yeah, that's it, and that's why it works in Life is Feudal. And I that's why I was upset when we finished up with the segment that the devs were here, because I wanted to bring that kind of stuff up to them, and I really didn't. And maybe we'll have them back on. Somebody will come back on eventually next time, and we'll talk with them and bring that up exact example. Okay, so let's see here what Extra Gaming said. When they add cities to H1Z1, it should be a place where nobody's been, meaning that no one has been able to get there because of sheer mass of zombies. The goal of placing these cities should increase teamwork. Cities should have good loot and working cars. Running working cars should never be near hospitals, or should be near hospitals. Parking garages may have been years since they started, might need new batteries and stuff, but loot itself will increase teamwork, and shootouts should have to work to get into cities that are placed, and since it's persistent world, yeah. So basically, it's exactly when, like in DayZ, you try to get to the airbase because that's where all the good guns and stuff were, right? And everybody tried to get there. So it was a place that you went and you had a risk, and you had to try to risk it by yourself or with a couple of buddies to get in and get the stuff. So yeah, I think that's a very good way to look at it. Have some kind of dense populated area that has a lot of loot in it, so everyone's going to try to get there and get the stuff. But they were saying that too, that even if you don't have the cities, airdrops, airdrops will come in, and there'll be something where everyone wants to run to and get the stuff from there as well.
I like the idea of natural disasters, possibly.
That's a neat idea, right?
Yeah. I don't care if it's I'm offline and an earthquake strikes and everything goes down. I
think that'd be awesome.
Make it
actually.
RNG. That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it happens to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not everybody. I mean, a tornado
is that like it went right by that one guy's house, killed everything in the mile, but just that except that one guy that's left surviving, and everyone's just pissed at that one guy.
He's just going around looting everybody.
Yeah.
The one guy that just took not enough falling damage from the tornado.
That lucky RNG. God damn it, Jim. Why is Jim's house the only one left?
All right. Do we have any other questions or anything? We can wrap it up soon if you want.
Not that I can see here.
You guys have any more questions in the audience? The devs are gone now. Well, we have a couple devs in the audience still that are here.
Dave's in there.
Yeah, Dave's here. So you could probably ask a question or two. Maybe we could get some answers from Dave.
Dave's not here, man.
Dave's not here, man.
No, it's me, Dave. I got the stuff.
Nah,
man. Dave's not here.
Come on, Dave. Let me in.
Come on, open it up. I got the meds. Nah, man. Dave's not here, dude. No.
Question.
Yeah,
will this game be like Rust, where people can be killed on sight?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Matter of fact, in this video that we're watching in the background, they kill each other all the time. It's kind of almost comical because it's just like they keep murdering each other.
And they still get in the car together to go
Yeah,
somewhere.
they're like, "Hey, give me a ride, okay." Matter of fact, there is a cool part I didn't put in this video. It's like there's really part of tension where he's like, "Hey, my car just crashed," and he's like, "Can you give me a ride?" And the guy's like, "I don't know about that." And then he's like, "No, seriously, look, come over here." It's just like, and then pop, 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 and he shoots him in the back of the head.
Duh.
Oh, I hate that.
That
That's
sounds
why I
like
can't trust anyone.
I was playing Nether with viewers one day, and we had some people we were partying up with, and we played with them for like 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And we overcame like a lot of really hairy situations, and then just randomly we left the safe zone and boom, put a bullet in the back of my head, took all my stuff.
Right.
Totally messed me up.
Doesn't that
anyone.
fuck with your head too? Like now you're like, now from that point on, you're not. I ain't trusting anybody. Fuck you guys. And
what was that famous mobster execution?
Why are you such a dick?
That happened with. I mean, when I played DayZ for 90 days or something, 30 days, 3 times I played DayZ streaming it, right? And at the end of it, I was like, trust. As a matter of fact, it's on my T-shirts that I make. It says trust no one, because I got to the point where I couldn't trust anybody. I trusted Stockus. That's how I met Stockus, was in DayZ. I trusted him because I was naked and I didn't care. At that point, I was just going to die anyway. But yeah, it's one of those things you just can't trust anymore. Any NPCs that could be the dude? Yeah, the dude is going to be there. He's going to be a pacifist though, and he sort of sits in the woods smoking weed all day. So no cooperation will happen like they expect people to. Well,
smoking energy drinks.
You're smoking energy drinks. They're not going to be. They want us to be cooperative. They want. I think what they want is something between Life is Feudal and DayZ. They want us to be cooperative, but they don't want it to be a full-on kill on sight. But kill on sight is an acceptable method to do. I mean, watch Walking Dead. There's plenty of times where these people just shoot at each other just because, there's hardly ever any trust anymore, because you can't. How do you trust somebody when you have food and they don't? You can't trust them. They're going to eat you.
Mm-hmm.
People can trust me in H1Z1. Sure, Kimball. You're a Viking. Guys, we are not developers. There is a developer in the audience, and we had the developers here a little while ago, but they had to go. So we're just chatting about the game now. So any questions like when's this coming out and stuff, we don't have that answer.
H1Z1 HQ, did they mention if you can barricade an in-game building and make it your base?
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
You can.
You can. Yeah, this game is gonna crush DayZ. Like, the people that are big DayZ fans are just gonna. I don't know if they're expecting it, they're not expecting it, or they're just being completely oblivious to what's really gonna happen. So I don't. Geek don't want Stockus when he was naked in the woods. Stockus was attracted to the no pants flow. This is true. Trust Simulator 2014, probably 2015 to be quite honest with you.
Oh.
Can we barricade people inside a building and trap them? Yes. And you could also barricade zombies inside the building and trap them as well, and then trap somebody in the building with the zombies.
Yeah, what I want to do is dig a ditch, plop a lot of zombies in there, and just cover it up, and then someone walks over, falls in, boom. Game over.
Sorry, no digging.
On the last Dev Spotlight, he gave a hint that it might come out, some of it was a troll. It probably was a troll. Soon, TM. All right, guys. Guess that's it.
Yeah. For the moment, I think.
Yes, shots fired. Is there going to be a restriction to certain buildings, or you can just barricade buildings in the middle of a city? You can do everything. As far as I know, you could take over a building, or you could build a building out in the like they're building a building here. One thing that kind of bothers me though is about the stilts thing. I understand why they're doing it, but it doesn't look as, I don't know, authentic about it or something. No, not it. One more. What's that? No. Tanks. You're welcome. All right, let's go.
Okay.
Cockroaches again. All right, guys. Real quick, go around the room. Stockus, where can people find you? What can they do?
You can find me here. You can watch me, Sergeant Stackers, on Twitch, Sergeant Stackers on Twitter. I'm currently making popcorn for everyone.
Nice.
How nice of you.
Yeah, so just settle down.
Popcorn's confirmed.
A little bit of cinnamon sugar. It's all good.
It comes out October 37th of 2010.
That already happened.
October 37th? Has not.
So has. There was that weird leap year thing.
Yeah, leap century. Mr. Tangent.
You can find me at twitch.tv/tangentgaming. You can find me on Twitter at Team Tangent. You can also find me on Tangent Games for YouTube. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Mr. Satellizer.
You can find me on twitch.tv/SatellizerGames, at SatellizerGames on Twitch, SatellizerGames55, my new YouTube on the YouTubes.
Nice.
Well,
and everyone should follow Dave1Z1 on his Twitter.
Yep, absolutely. Dave, say something in the chat.
Yeah, he's done that. Yeah.
Dave, give your stuff out, Dave.
He already did it, I think.
And I just wanted to. I was sort of like, not starstruck, but I was just sort of overwhelmed by having all those devs there. I really was expecting like Steve and like one other person, maybe Shankman and Steve. I could have handled Shankman and Steve together, but I was expecting like 8 people in the room.
That's cool.
So
that was good. We got a lot of people.
what I was going to say is I wanted to tell them thank you very much. Appreciate them all coming and hanging out because it's a Friday. They wanted to go home. That's why I was trying to get them out of here as well. And for them to stop what they're doing, coming home to hang out with us here, it was really great tonight. So big mega hug thanks to you guys. And I don't know if you're still watching or not. Probably not. You probably went home. But if you watch this back later, thank you so much for all you guys coming on the show. And really appreciate it. Okay, let's GTFO. What do you think?
Sounds good.
Okay, thanks everybody.
Yeah.
Good night. We'll see you all soon. Oh wait, we have no idea when we're coming back. We're gonna try to get them on the show more often, and when we can get them back on, we'll do another show. Okay.
Back tomorrow.
Wait,
We
not
need
tomorrow.
to get Dave1Z1 on.
I'd love to have Dave.
Where was Dave this entire time?
Dave, will
Yeah,
you come on
Dave.
the show, Dave?
Come on, Dave.
Come on the show,
Come on.
maybe in 2 weeks, maybe.
Come on, Dave.
Dave, say it.
Say it, Dave. Say yes.
Dave, say yes. Say yeah. I'll come on the show.
it.
I'd love to be on your show, Domo.
As we wait for the delay to go through.
Mhm.
Come on.
Right.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. All right. Very good.
Confirmed.
Confirmed. Dave Z1Z1 on the show. Okay.
Set in stone.
Good night, guys. We'll see you later. Until next time. See ya.